There is 2 final super chats from David, who, so basically just talking about TBC and, his experience crossing over to Hellfire and, just, barely made it to Honor Hold alive. When you get to Honor Hold, playing the little event where the Infernals rain down.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. And, I have a similar experience, which is the first time, I had the identical experience whenever I went there first, but also going into, Howling Fjord for the first time. And, you just have this incredible experience, your little ride in that boat opens up to the perfect vista. The level design. Back then the level design didn't feel like level design. It felt like living, breathing world design.
Yeah.
I think a little bit of that has been lost as our zones have become more like tight, interconnected gameplay hubs. I think that's a discussion for a different day.
Yes, for sure.
But yeah, it was just like, even in Borean Tundra, and both of those, like the Vrykul are attacking, they got their dragons and stuff. You can actually see them overlooking you at the other side of the fjord.
Yeah.
Or the little inlet. Borean Tundra, you're constantly, the base is Valence Hold or Vigilant or whatever it was called.
Valence, keep.
Yeah, keep. That's it. It's constantly under attack by the Nerubians and stuff.
Yes.
I think that stuff's really cool. And I actually think that those are more effective intro experiences than not the intro experience of Warlords of Draenor, but potentially the intro experience of both Legion, Legion, BFA, and this current one, Shadowlands. And there's a reason why I say that. It was purely experiential, and it's just what was happening in the world. And it set the stage pretty clearly in a way where it never yanked control away from my character. It didn't move my camera. It didn't show me a janky in-game cutscene. Now, it's great that Blizzard can get their really big lore moments, but there's just something about being like, you're just a dude in the Alliance and you've been thrown into this situation, away you go, that I think was very, very effective for setting up the world in just such an elegant way. That's perhaps more elegant than doing a, sort of tightly scripted thing. So, I think there's room for both. I think we should probably have both. I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah, it's the kind of case where I think if you want the player to feel like a hero, they have to perform some heroics. And that was obviously done when you're a soldier and you're like just doing small things. You're an adventurer, you're doing small little heroics. But it's a case where I can't remember the last time an event or like a couple of quests in game made me actually feel like I was doing something great in the context of being the Maw Walker or whatever else. It's like the Maw is just too much. The Maw intro experience is too much of like, okay, here's Bolvar's holding my hand for a bit. Or not Bolvar, Darian. Darian's holding my hand for a bit, and then we're getting lower tidbits here and there. And it felt nice, and it felt oppressive enough, but it wasn't naturally oppressive. It almost might have been better if they'd dropped me in the Maw and told me to get to Venari or to get to the Waystone without any of that scripted stuff. It's just, here you go. Here's these big giants and all these fiery boys that you can't fight yet. Get there.
Yeah, that's almost similar to me, crossing, so many people do this, crossing the river in Elwyn Forest and getting eaten.
Yeah.
In Darkshore, which is pretty sweet. There was a question from Lars, WoW Classic, TBC, Wrath of the Lich King, the ending, or, where does it go after that? I'd say it makes sense to take the WoW Classic project as far as Mists of Pandaria. That will get them many more years of content. After that, the well is ran dry. What are they going to do? I think by that stage, they either need to be giving World of Warcraft Call of Duty tier resources and actually have that work. Or, you need something like a Classic Plus, so an old school RuneScape. And speaking of old school RuneScape, we actually have one from Dastil here as well, who says, do you think WoW can get as old school RuneScape? A 3D game does get much worse with age, in my opinion. Yeah, so, a 3D game can struggle with that, but I would say that the real thing here is compare EverQuest 2 to World of Warcraft, where EQ2, art style-wise, feels a little bit more modern. Or it's not modern, what am I talking about? Photoreal, right? And like it and WoW came out about the same time, but it's like because WoW has way more stylization, WoW just holds up so much better. So I actually do think that World of Warcraft can go the distance, like RuneScape did. I mean, they're similarly old games. There was the original RuneScape, which is different from OSRS. You would need old school RuneScape to get the original RuneScape 1, not RuneScape 2. But yeah, WoW can go the distance. Even WoW Classic, I think it will just hold up because, man, the art style worked back then, and goddamn, it still works now. You know?
Yeah, I think as far as like class is concerned, most of the problems I find with old games is there's the fact that they just won't run.
Yeah.
Because architecture changes or OS changes. That's never going to be a problem with them constantly like reviving it easily enough. Art style wise, like you discussed, it doesn't look good, but it looks fine.
Yeah.
It looks perfectly fine. Going around, you still get all the nice colors, all the nice shapes. It works perfectly fine. But I think one of the major things that stop people from going back to very old games, especially 3D ones, is because, oh man, from outside of, I guess, like some extremely good platformers and some absolutely, they basically are anachronistic in how well they play 3D games. I mean, Super Mario 64 is one of them. There's so many games just are awful to play because we didn't have the experience as an industry to have all these design problems worked out and all these very simple things. Like, I mean, compare playing any shooter on the PS2, like with a controller, to anything now on a controller. All of the problems with literally input is solved. World of Warcraft Classic feels great to play. Yeah. I actually love playing. I love playing Classic as much as I love playing Shadowlands because it, like, from a feel perspective, because when I hit a button, stuff happens. It works. Yeah. It's instant. So I think that's not a concern for World of Warcraft in any way. It's just a matter of can they keep people interested content-wise.
Yeah.